Hello, welcome back. And the next step you're going to create are the splices that will be connecting this column and this column. Let's check the height. We double click on that, we'll be able to get all the detail. That is 8 meters. If you double click on the top column, that is 7 meters. And first of all, let's create a splice here. So there are two options here. You can create the splice manually, and you can also create the splice using the macro. So maybe the macro is not the appropriate setting of a preference, but in this particular case, if I click on this and I pick up the splice and I want to connect this and that, and you can see the splices. This is the right connection though, but is not exactly what we wanted. So if I just press Control, I'll pick any point of interest and left and right click and hold my mouse, I'll be able to rotate these like that. So what I'm going to do next is very simple. I'm going to delete this and create my own splice, because I want one side to be welded on the top beam and the other side to be bolted, and the same happen in the opposite direction. So let me just do this. Let me just undo that splice connection and start creating my own splice connection. So I just need some simple guidelines here on using points. So I'll come to edit and come to points here, pick on point. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to snap here. So if I snap there, I'm not able to see the point that I've created. The reason why I've not made my points visible. So I'll select on that, or I'll make my points visible. So if I come back here, you can see I have my points now visible. So if I select on this, right click and maybe copy that to that far end, or we have some options where you can project that point to that location. So let me just press Control and select the other point, right click and come to special copy here, and I want to take it down by 200 millimeter. So I'll make any axis 0 except the axis I intend to offset these points downward. So in this particular case, I'll be using the z-axis in this case. So the z-axis will be 200, but prefixed by a negative sign in this case is 200. So if I come here and click copy, if I close that and bring it up slightly, you can see I have my plate, my points already transferred or done or copied downward. So let me just select these two once again. Right click and come to copy and pick on the points here and pick that point and take it somewhere here. There we have our points in place. So another one, because I want just to create the points, the plates one go, I'll go ahead here and come to this the flange and pick on the point here and snap right at the center right there, and pick on the same point right there. Make sure your point turns red. That means the selection is active. So if I come to copy here, maybe linear right there, or maybe just let me just use linear. And which direction do I intend to copy this? Will be on the y-axis. So in this particular case, everything except the y-axis will have a dimension. So on the y-axis, I intend to give it an offset of 120 right there, 120 millimeter. So that's it. So if I close that, right click and come to interrupt here and pick on that point right there. Select this point, right click and come to copy, and I'll pick this point from that location there and place it on top of this, because I need 240 length or width of this particular plate. So I'll select the 2 points once again. So if I right click and turn that round, I'll be able to see that the 2 points easily. So if I press that, right click and come to special copy and come to linear. So on the z-axis, I want to copy that by 200 downward, but though I have to prefix this dimension by a negative sign. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to feed the 200 and click OK. So if you take a look at the bottom end here, you can see you have 2 points the 2 points have been transferred downward. So I'll come back again, and since these are still active, the same points here, I'll change this to 400 and take it up by 400, but on the positive direction of the z-axis. So the splice will be quite big. So what I'm going to do is just to create a midpoint between these 2 points. So how do I do that? I'll come to point and pick dividing points right there. So I'll snap on that point, then snap on that spot, then maybe project this point to that point. I'll come to points there and pick on project point. So between these 2 points here, I want to project this point here. So if I click on that, I'll be able to get the opposite point right there. So I'll do the same thing here, select on that, right click and come to copy. So I'll copy this point and place it somewhere here. So we have the 2 points right in place. So instead of using this, we'll be using the midpoints. So let me just turn this, we get head and start creating the plate. I'll come to plate, and I want to create a contour plate here by now tracing our points like that. Click on that, and click on that. We have a point in place. So if we double click on that and we take that front, this will be 10 millimeter thick, and you can bring it up frontward and click OK, and that's it. We have our plate in place. So what I'm going to do next is simply creating a splice at this end here. I'll come to plate, then trace my points like that, snap on that spot, snap on that spot, and snap on that spot. This will be 10 millimeter. Yes, that will be 10 millimeter, but we'll bring it forward, and I'll give it front and give apply and give it an OK. So if I do that, I'll be able now to mirror that on the other end. So prior to that, I want also to mirror this far end. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change, reorient my XYZ plane. So what do? I'll come to view, and under view, I'm going to click on more options and pick on surface here. So if I pick on surface here, let me see whether I'll be able to turn that or mirror that on the other end. So like that, right click and come to mirror. So if I mirror this from the midpoint right there, let me just snap on that spot. And if I mirror that, I'll be able to have my plate on the other end. So I have to change the XYZ plane by coming back once again and place it somewhere here. So once I've placed someone there, I'll be able to select on that, right click and come to special copy right there and pick mirror. So I want to place my mirror line from this location and snap on the bottom end there and click run. So if I go back to the other end, if I turn that the other end, I'll be able to have my plate in place. So these are my plates in place. So what I'm going to do is to place the bolts. So what in the next part part 3 will be now placing the bolts on our splices. So let's meet on the next part of our presentation, and let's meet then. Bye bye.